It's all right. I don't put on Babu, so thank you very much. I will give you the host back. You can start now. You're already online.
Okay, Hare Krishna. We chat about this as a student, no class. Jaya Radha. Hare Krishna, Madhuvanji. Accept my humble obeisances. All glories to the Prabhupada, all glories to his Guru Paramparam, all glories to you. Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janava. Jaya Giri Vardhari. Jaya Giri Vardhari. Jaya Gopi Janava. Jaya Giri Vardhari. Jaya Giri Vardhari. Jaya Yasodhanandana. Jai Brajajanarana. Jaya Yasodhanandana. Jaya Brajajanarana. Jai Yamudatiya. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Jai Rama Govinda, Govinda Jai Rama, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Haribo, 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 go to Haribo. Hare Krishna. Dear Bhakti Vaibhava students, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah, please, you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. So, without wasting much time, we go ahead. We all remember that in verse 29, in chapter 29, Devahuti asks some questions at the beginning, right at the beginning, from verses 2 to 5. She asked some questions. And one of the questions is, how and why the influence of time, how time is influencing the living entity, especially the typical fruitive worker. How they force him to engage in activities, selfish activities against the laws of man, against the laws of God, against the prescribed duties, just for the self-interested purpose of maintaining his family. And for that purpose, he performs so many impious, irregular, sinful activities. And at old age, he suffers, neglected by his family members. And his body also gives him so much trouble. And at a point, everything failed him and death comes before him. and is forced out of the body, lamenting for what he should have done otherwise or differently. Things that he did not do that he should have done. And things that he has done wrongly, things he would have done differently, lamenting. And in the process, he leaves the body. At the point of leaving the body, between verse 19 down to 34, we are going to see what this fruitive worker who decided to act, to serve God indirectly by serving the Maya of God, by serving the senses, by engaging in sense gratification, indirectly serving God. He prefers to serve God indirectly by himself engaging in sensual activities, in sense gratification, so that he can get chastised and gradually get purified and get evolved until he becomes proper human being again. So how this is happening when he's at the point of leaving the body, what does he see? We remember the story of Ajamila. When Ajamila was to leave the body, he saw Yamadutas, and out of fear, out of terror, he screamed, he called the name of his son, Narayan. And how, chanting in that number verse alone, the Vishnudutas appeared and drove away the Yamadutas, and how he was saved. So when that happened, yes, Ajamila first lamented how he misused his life, how he should have done, things differently. He blamed himself for not engaging fully in devotional service. He blamed himself for trying to serve God indirectly through the process of sense gratification. He lamented heavily. But first, the Yamaduta their presence struck fear in his heart. He struck fear in his heart. Then from that fear, he repented, and that repentance was able to bring out lamentation, or it was manifested in his lamentation. And eventually, he got reinstated. So we are going to see a similar sequence is coming up here. Devotee wants to show the living entities in general the importance of detachment. And to become detached, you must first get knowledge about your critical condition. You have to get knowledge about the futility of the world, and how it is a waste of time to invest all your energies in sense gratification, because everything in this material world will be taken away by time. Time is Krishna himself. Krishna decided to take away everything in the end, and the devotee want people to know this. Now, upon knowing this, we become afraid of engaging in sinful activities. And out of that fear, we are now going to regret our waste of energy, our misuse of independence. We lament. Then from that lamentation, then we begin to get purified and get reinstated. So this is what is going on. We have gotten the knowledge now. This knowledge has culminated with trying to experience what will make us fear, to frighten us about the consequences of sinful activities. If you do like this, if you act in this way, this is going to be the result. The result is very fearful and lamentable. Lamentable because when you lose your human form, any other form you take, the activities are pitiable, just as we are seeing the activities of the lower living entities, those lower than human beings. How the activities are very horrible for us to see. Yet they are covered by Maya so that they think that there is satisfaction there. The bird is satisfied, the fish is satisfied, the lizards are satisfied, the cockroaches, all their miserable life. The goats, he-goats and sea-goats, cats and dogs, all living entities, they are satisfied in their, but those who are superior to them see them, they lament that what kind of, is this life? Is this life? Pigeon life? Is it life? Goat life? Is it life? Just going around stealing anywhere you see food. You just go and take it. And you know that you are stealing. So when the owner comes, you are ready to run faster than the owner. So based on your ability to be smart physically, then you are living. The one you snatch away, you go and start somewhere and begin to chew because you have run away from the owner who owns it. And you don't care to go and arrange your own. You want to living a life of stealing and fearing and running and hiding and all that. They are satisfied with it. It's due to the covering potency of Maya. So the devotee is seeing these things and lamenting, and you want to see the pure devotees are lamenting. Srila Prabhupada is lamenting. All the previous acharyas are lamenting over this. Why? Because they are seeing from the superior point of view, the Mahabhagava point of view, that all living entities are eternal spirit souls. This is proper vision. We are eternal spirit souls who are part and parcel of Krishna, who are supposed to be absorbed in pure devotional service, but we are falling so low. We are falling so low that we have become lizards, we have become cockroaches, we have become rats, we have become cats, we have become dogs, and we have become goats. We have become donkeys. Carrying low for women, we have become snakes. We have become snails. We are becoming, so this is lamentable for the pure devotees who know that we are eternal servants of God. So here we are going to see what happens to this kind of person who have lived such a life, a careless life, a life where he was the center, not God. Sense gratification was his dharma. A complete V-coming. When the V-coming leaves the body, what happens? That's where we are. So this man is about to leave the body now. This Griyameji, this V-coming, this sense gratifier is about to leave the body now. And he has actually left the body. So what is he seeing now? What is he seeing? That's what we are going to follow him to see. And some personalities will appear before him, because after the physical realm, there is a different life, because it is not the soul that dies. It's not the subtle body that dies. It's the physical body that dies. So those who are in ignorance, they'll be so bewildered, but their bewilderment will not stop the activities of material nature. So the person will be taken away to some kind of places where we receive the result of what he has done in this lifetime. We receive, you have to feel, you have to receive it, whether you like it or not. And we are going to see how this will happen. So that's why we say we should wear a shoe. If you need to wear boots, iron boots, so that if in case it's going to pass through hot iron, you match it and there's some cooling something inside, you have to wear a suitable shoe so that you can walk on thorns and pebbles, because they are going to take him to places that look very, very, very dangerous. You are not going to follow him so closely because you are not the one. But we just want to see what is happening. So we'll give a distance and we'll be peeping and we'll be following and to try to see what happens to such persons, so that we also know how to adjust ourselves. If we don't like what happened, we get fear. We will be struck with fear. Then we begin to change our ways. Prabhu, Hare Krishna, give me a few minutes. Hare Krishna. Oh. You people better come because we are giving class. I'm giving class, by what time class? Okay. I'm in the house. I'm giving class there. So once you get there, just signal me. Before you get there, just signal me. I will run out to come and take. No, in the house. I'm giving online class in the house. Yes, so I will have to pause and come and run to pick him. So, Hare Krishna. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Prabhu, forgive me. I'll slow down. Okay. Forgive me.
No, you are no offense at all. It's just that because I'm observing
My
that you are alive.
My expansion is coming. My
No, it's okay.
expansion
No,
is coming. I will run outside when he reach. I will run outside to go and bring him so that we continue our best. So forgive me.
Can you listen to me?
Yes.
Yeah, you have no offense in the first place. And your attending to emergency situation is not a sin. But because I observe this is live on YouTube, all you could do is just mute your voice so that it will give sanctity to those who will be watching live. So you could just mute yourself if you have such an emergency.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, it's technical. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. I was caught there. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, Salukji. So let us start today's verses now. And we will start with the best of the regulars. The best of the regulars, Madhuvan. The first to attend to start the class. He has taken first position. All the classes, the only person, two of us will start. Then later others will join. So Madhuvan Prabhu, start to read verse 19.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Text 19.
We recognize your punctuality. Very encouraging.
Thank you. Yamadata tada praptu bimo sarabisa tanu saviswa tata rajaya sakrimutra bimu chati. The translation. At death, he sees the messengers of the Lord of death come before him. Their eyes full of wrath, and in great fear he passes to and urine. Purport. There are two kinds of transmigrations of living entities after passing away from the present body. One kind of transmigration is to go to the controller of simple activity, who is known as Yamaraj, and the other is to go to the higher planet, up to Vaibhava. Here, Lord Kapila describes how persons engage in activities of sense gratification to maintain a family are treated by the messengers of Yamaraj, called Yamadutas. At the time of death, the Yamadutas become the custodians of those persons who have strongly gratified their senses. They take charge of the dying man and take him to the planet where Yamaraj resides. The conditions there are described in the following verses. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So Yamadutas have appeared. And these Yamadutas appear to those who have indulged in sense gratification, who have lived a life of Giryamedi, not Giryasta. Those who are the center, who made themselves the center of activities, who made the senses and the minds the center of activities. So Yamadutas appear before these people and take them to their masters. And Yamadutas, their appearance is very, very terrible. We hear more of them. Their appearance very ferocious. Their presence will strike fear into the heart of any sinful man. And they will do their duty without compromise. You see, but they do not approach those who are Vaikuntha bound, who are going to the spiritual world. That means who have made Krishna the goal of their life, who have centered their life around devotional service. So these are the two kinds of transmigration that take place. So let's go on to see what happened, what the Yamadutas actually do, how they look and what they do, and why they come, and who they come for. Carry on. Jyoti Swarup Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Verse 20.
20,
yeah. Yatana deha avrutya parshe badva gale batat nayato dirdaman vamnam dandyam rajabhata yatha. Translation. as a criminal is arrested for punishment by the constable of the state. A person engaged in criminal sense gratification is similarly arrested by Yamadutas, who bind him by the neck with a strong rope and cover his subtle body so that he may undergo severe punishment. Purport: every living entity is covered by subtle and gross body. The subtle body is the covering of mind, ego, intelligence, and consciousness. It is said in the scriptures that the constables of Yamraj covers the subtle body of the culprit and take him to the abode of Yamraj to be punished in the way that he is able to tolerate. He does not die from his punishment, because if he died, then who would suffer the punishment? It is not the business of the constable of Yamraj to put on the death. In fact, it is not possible to kill a living entity because factually he is eternal. He simply has to suffer the consequences of his activities of sense gratification. The process of punishment is explained in the Caitanya Charitamrita. Formerly, the king's men would take the criminal in the boat in the middle of the river. They would dunk him by grasping a bunch of his hair and thrusting him completely underwater. And when he was almost suffocated, the king's constable would take him out of the water and allow him to breathe for some time. And then they would again dunk him in the water to suffocate. This sort of punishment is inflicted upon the forgotten soul by Yamraj, as well as will be described in the following verses.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So this is the situation that the subtle body actually does not die. It's the physical body that dies. So the subtle body plus the soul will be extracted from the physical body. And the Yamadutas will cover. They cover him. I mean, they make sure that he doesn't die. They protect him, but they know that the road is very dangerous. The route is very dangerous. The procedure is very, very strong, acidic, and everything is terrible. But they make sure that it does not die, because actually the soul does not die. And the subtle body also doesn't die like that. You see? Only upon entering the spiritual world you can shed it, but it endures. You know, so but the physical body dies and immediately is consumed by worms and vultures. So please, let's pause a little bit for a few minutes.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Krishna, forgive me. Oh. Pray for me so that I don't become a Griameti. Pray for me. Because what the Griameti is experiencing, I don't want to experience it. So, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, we are back now. Forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. So the constables of Yamaraj, we go about it carefully so that the victim, the person they are taking to their master, does not die. Actually, the suffering body will not die, but they will torture him enough, and for him to know that he has come to a place where sinful people have come. They will strike terror, fear in his heart, so that he can eventually repent. So this is where we are now. They are going to take him to their master right now. They have already appeared. Though the Yamadutas, in the present world now, there is a Yamaduta haircut. They have their haircut, they have their way to dress, their look is ferocious. And in the material world, there's Yamaduta haircuts in different places in the world now. Yamaduta haircuts, people like to identify with it. Just like us, they identify with Rastafarianism. We have Yamaduta haircuts. But the Buddhists doesn't want to identify with any of that because they know what it means, what is behind the scene. So let us go to the next. Sorry for the distraction once again, but let us go ahead now. Salika Prabhu, take charge of the next verse. Let us go. We are going to move through this road to hell. And I believe all of you have won your boots. So, Salikaji, take us to the next level.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Tayo.
Okay, text number 22, is 21.
21, Prabhuji.
Yes, that's 21. Tayo nabuma ridayas Daraja nejata vepotu Pat swabi Bhaksya manaha Artugam swam anusmaram. While carried by the constables of Yamaraj, he is overwhelmed and trembles in their hands. While passing on the road, he is beaten by dogs. He can remember the sinful activities of his life. He is thus terribly distressed. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It appears from this verse that while passing from this planet to the planet of Yamaraj, the culprit arrested by Yamaraj's constables meets many dogs which bark and bark just to remind him of his criminal activities of sense gratification. It is said in Bhagavad Gita that one becomes almost blind and is bereft of all sense when he is infuriated by the desire for sense gratification. He forgets everything. Kama is Ritagyanan, Bhagavad Gita 7:20. One is bereft of all intelligence when he is too attracted by sense gratification, and he forgets that he has to suffer the consequences also. Here, the chance for recounting his activities of sense gratification is given by the dogs engaged by Yamaraj while we live in the gross body. Such activities of sense gratification are encountered. While we live in this gross material body, such activities of sense gratification are encouraged even by modern government regulations. In every state all over the world, such activities are encouraged by the government in the form of birth control. Women are supplied pills and they are allowed to go to a clinical laboratory to get assistance for abortions. This is going on as a result of sense gratification. Actually, sex life is meant for begetting a good child. But because people have no control over the sense and there is no institution to train them to control the senses, the poor fellows fall victim to the criminal offenses of sense gratification, and they are punished after death as described in these pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna.
This is very clear and self-explanatory. The dogs on the road, they bark at him just to remind him of his sinful involvements, and they are engaged by Yamaraj to do this service, to remind this soul who is now disembodied about his previous sinful activities of sense gratification. And he will be on the track. We see what Jyoti Swarup Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhuji,
Your
I wanted
hands.
to ask one. Yeah, I wanted to ask one question.
Okay.
Yeah, Prabhuji, as we are hearing now, that on the way to the Yamaloka, when we are going, as came in front, that the dog bites the soul. They bark on them and it bites them. So, Prabhuji, I wanted to know that the judgment will be done at the Yamaloka. So, at least, I mean, after the judgment, there should be punishment. But even before going to the Yamaloka, the punishment starts. So, how it is like it has not given any judgment, but still, dog started biting him, and the soul start dunking in the water. So I just wanted to learn about this, Prabhuji, so we can be fearful and we can continue the correct thing.
Yes,
Hare
the
Krishna.
whole idea is to strike terror, strike fear in the living entity who is thus engaged in sinful activities. It must be made to fear. They are frightened. They are trying to put fear in his heart, so that that fear will arouse, a sense of not wanting to do such things again that will bring him to this kind of environment. This is a prison. If you are entering a prison, you should know what you expect. You don't expect normal treatment. You start feeling intimidated. You'll be intimidated right from the gate. You stand somewhere. Don't stand there. You stand this side. Remove your cap. Give me your clothes. Where are your phones? That intimidation starts right from the gate, so that you know that you are coming into a zone whereby you'll be fully under control. Understand? You have to be afraid at least and respect this environment. This is what this whole setting is all about. So that before you get to Yamaraj, you are ready, afraid, intimidated, ready to listen. They have to bring you that there are laws here. There are rules and regulations in this place. You have to be very careful, whatever you do, whatever you say, and you must obey, otherwise we can't do it. You already seen how fearful we are. We are very dangerous. Don't joke with us. We have been looking for people to beat, and you have come into this zone. Someone will slap. You begin to get a glimpse of the treatment. Just like when you come to prison, as soon as they open the cell and you enter there, they push you practically into the cell. You off balance, you look here, you see some ferocious, then somebody will slap you. and take away everything that you have, you still have. Remove your cloth. If your cloth is nice, they take it and wear it. Sit on the floor. No, they intimidate you, welcome you into the system. This is what is going on. You are going to a dangerous zone. To tell you that next time God will do something to bring you here.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. So with that, well, this is material people. Sometimes, let's say a devotee or an innocent soul is caught, and this is the way they are treated sometimes by police and other distance cellmates, and later they find out that the person is innocent. They find out the person is innocent, and they become regretful. So in the case of four. Maybe we have heard in the same Bhagavatam that in some other cases, there was one person who by chance heard the Bhagavatam or heard the distance who was Yamaraj wanted to punish him, but because he didn't practice it, but he heard it. Of which Lord Shiva came in, Narada came in, and along as they arrived at Vishnu. So in the case as Prabhu is asking, you are being taken to the court. So why are you being treated that? Because in the
Chitra, your voice is gone again.
Why, if that is so, to put you
your voice is gone again.
Or treatment. So why don't they wait for after the distance, after the justice
So you want
is
to
served
tell
on
us
the
what we should do, how we should operate in our own kingdom? You are coming to our kingdom and you want to tell us how we operate in our kingdom? We have our rules and regulations there. Oh, so you have to arrive from, you have to feel our presence. You are coming into a different territory. Be ready to obey. Otherwise, what you will see, you will not like it. So that intimidation is a complete package. For you going there at all, you need to get that experience that you are coming into a zone that we don't tolerate any nonsense. You have to be fully submissive. They demand total surrender. Just like Krishna demands total surrender. That's why those who are controllers of that, they demand total surrender. And these are their agents to bring you to that consciousness. They have to work on your psyche. They have to psych you, so that you conduct yourself. If you don't conduct, they will conduct you. So conduct yourself. They push you from behind. They deal with you. You have not seen anything. You're just starting the journey. So just wait and see. The thing is that if we are to be not found guilty, there will be divine intervention, as you yourself said. If you have some pious credit somewhere, there will be divine intervention. And Narada may come, Lord Shiva may come, other people may come and intervene on your behalf. But for you coming there at all, you need to experience the place you are coming, the zone, the laws you need to. So no exemption. Once you come there, pass through that route. Hare Krishna. Don't try to go there. That's
Hare
the goal
Krishna,
of life.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. The person is a criminal already. It's a criminal.
Yeah.
When some people are going to Calcutta, you are going to. You have been arrested by Yamagita. When some people are going to Calcutta, so it's a criminal already. And
Yes.
those Yamagitas, they will hardly make a mistake. Not like our material judgment here, where somebody is mistakenly arrested and later they discover. They will hardly make any mistake. So let's admit it's a criminal already.
Yes. To qualify to come there means you are in danger. So
Sorry,
welcome.
Prabhuji, we are afraid of this thing. That's why we are asking questions so we can be careful.
Yes. So we want to strike fear in everybody. That's why this whole chapter is also made to strike fear.
And I'm surprised that Madhuban is encouraging this. Madhuban, Prabhu, you have to be careful because maybe you might not. We are
might not win. Once you are a devotee, there will be intervention on your own side. You will not get there. You will pass
We,
the
we, are,
other route.
we are saying this so that they can do some adjustment, so that in case some of us do it, and you are encouraged.
Prabhu, you have not seen anything. Let us go further on this route. You will see what is actually there. This is just A. There is B, C to Z on it. Plenty things are involved. Just for coming to that environment, don't try to go there. Be careful enough not to go there. That means take your devotional service with all your heart and do it very well. Instead of becoming a Griameti, become a Griasta. Instead of putting yourself in the center, trying to serve God indirectly, try to serve Him directly by following the 9 processes of Bhakti, working under the guidance of a guru. Take these things very, very seriously. This is the whole arrangement. If you want to experience it, okay, the choice is still yours. So let us go ahead, because there will be unfoldment.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I have some clarifications that I want you to make for us.
Okay.
Actually, what we are reading is already going on here in this our physical world. Normally, when one is arrested as a criminal, we see that he loses all his rights. I remember in our childhood days, when they arrest a thief, before they take him to the police station, even children can spit on him, pinch him, bite him, throw stones against him. He can't say anything.
Yes, yes.
But here, the question I want to ask is that we've read about some dogs that bark and bite the culprit. How special are those dogs, since there are so many different ferocious animals, but these dogs of Yamaraj, their mentioning seems to be of a special importance.
They are intimidation agents now, agents of intimidation, so that you can conduct yourself. This environment you are entering, there are rules and regulations, there's a mechanism, there are constables in different forms. Even the dog, when the dog barks, it barks, it strike fear. There are security dogs. They bark to strike fear in you directly. And the dogs don't talk, you don't hear the language. So you have to be very, very careful. Any movement you make can be very dangerous. So you just conduct yourself. They have to conduct you. So they are specially dedicated for this kind of service. That is their position. We don't know how they became qualified to do that service, but later, maybe if we make findings, we might discover that there are some personalities who are qualified to do this specific service. And we have to make research into that separately. But for now, they are intimidators, and all to fulfill the strategy there. It's part of the strategy. That before you get to master, you are already conducted like anything. You are shivering. Then they throw you down there. They will not just give you. They will not give you seat. They just push you down. Throw you there. You go and land and look around. Adjust. You see Yamara sitting on the throne. Then judgment starts. Chitragupta sitting down. Other security, Yamara security, all guiding the place. Then you become extremely humble. In an appealing mood, you fold your hand. Then Yamara will be ready to speak with you. So this is it. Let us try not to go there. Let's avoid going there. So what we need to do in order to avoid going there, that's what the Bhakti wants us to learn. And she has induced Kapila Dev to talk about this for our benefits. Then we can eventually develop detachment. Then before the detachment, we must be made to pass through a fearful situation so that we can lament and regret for acting in a way that means we are ready to work on ourselves. Then that lamentation will now bring purification. Then we develop detachment from those things that will qualify you to go there. So it's a whole package. And all this would have been avoided if one just accepts the direct process of devotional service. This is a process for those who want to take the indirect process. Instead of becoming the master of the senses, they want to serve the senses. Instead of surrendering to Krishna, they want independence so that they can graduate. This one is for them. Leave their camp and join the camp of the Bhaktas. And that's where we are already. Those who are there, they don't have the chance to read about this. Well, we are already on the other camp. That's why we have the opportunity to hear all this. Okay. So Rasavan Prabhu himself, the fifth entrance. The fifth entrance. Number 5 among those who attended, who come to the classroom. Somebody has carried last consistently. Let's see whether that can change tomorrow next week.
So I take from text 22, 23, 24, because 22 and 23 have no purport.
So just read the ones. The next one, are they two together or is one?
No, it's one, but they all have no purport.
No, don't worry, just read your one and leave it. Leave the other ones. Okay. Read the 3 together.
Okay, then I will leave the Sanskrit aspect for the 2 that have no purport, and then read the Sanskrit for the one that has purport, so that we can go faster.
Prabhu, read everything. Read the Sanskrit. The Sanskrit purifies this.
Okay, 22 says, Shotre parito ricadavana lanilai santa piamana patita tavaluke creature
Priste
kasaya shamo dake. Then which translates, under the scorching sun, the criminal has to pass through roads of hot sand with forest fires on both sides. He is whipped on the back by the constables because of his inability to walk, and is afflicted by hunger and thirst. But unfortunately, there is no drinking water, no shelter, no place for rest on the road.
Okay, stop. We are not rushing. We are not going to rush. Stop. The translation itself is purport by itself.
Yes.
Under the scorching sun, the criminal has to pass through the roads of hot sand with forest fires on both sides. The sand is very, very hot. The sand and he has no footwear, no slippers. They are going on barefoot. The road is very narrow, only as wide as your body. There is no space right, there is no space left. Instead, on your right and left, there is fire. Yes, there is fire on both sides. And the sand is very hot, and you have to pass through. And the road is as narrow as the size of your body. This is the road you are passing. And as he is passing through there, he finds it difficult to step because he's not wearing shoe. He's unable to walk. He's unable to match the distance. Then these constables, they whip the person. They whip this sinful soul. They give him a very strong whip. You can imagine the type of whip that is being employed by Yamadutas. Terrible one, very painful. They will whip. Come on, move. He cannot step on because all is free to be burnt, and he has to move. On both sides, there is fire, and he has to move through this area. He has to move very fast. And he's afflicted by hunger. As it is, the heat dry up the water in his system. So he wants to drink something, he's thirsty. But unfortunately, there is no drinking water. There is no water. You are going for punishment and you are thinking of water to drink, to quench your thirst. You want to be. No. Why do you come here in the first place? No shelter, that means no shade up, and no place for rest on the road. And you have to go. This is what you have to. If you don't want this, if you don't want to pass through this road, then of course you know what to do. The camp. Come to the camp of the devotees. Remain there. Remove yourself from the center because the center belongs to Krishna. And just do your service as a servant of Krishna. Then you will not experience any of this. So the choice is ours. But this is the road. We are going, we that are going, fortunately for us, we are wearing some boots. And we are wearing fireproof jackets inside the school. And the outside will just absorb the heat. We will not feel it. Because we are only going to spy. We are not, we just, we are journalists. We are journalists, so we are protected. Yamaraj knows about our escorting this guy. We just want to learn so that we can come and tell people here, look at what is happening there. Don't go there. So read the next verse, Chitraketu Putra. The last among the attendants, the last person to enter the room. The last person, consistently last. Yesterday last, today last.
That is a way of even humbling for the seniors devotees to come first, because I don't want to take first.
Okay. And you don't want to be the first to enter this hot road also. So you want to see how would they feel first, but you are coming from behind. If there's any caution to take, some places to jump, but you just jump distance instead of walking. Okay, carry on.
Okay, verse 23. Tatra patansrantu muchita puna utita pata papia salitas tarashaya masadanam. While passing on that road to the abode of Yamaraj, he falls down in fatigue, and sometimes he becomes unconscious, but he is forced to rise again. In this way, he is very quickly brought to the presence of Yamaraj.
While passing on that road to the abode of Yamaraj, he falls down in fatigue, and sometimes it becomes unconscious, but he is forced to rise again. In this way, he is very quickly brought to the presence of Yamaraj. So even though they say quickly here, the principle is that where there is suffering, time happens to expand. When somebody is suffering, 1 minute is like 1 hour, or sometimes a day or more. But when somebody is enjoying, he does not notice the passing of time. So here is a suffering situation. So these yojanas, one yojana is about 8 miles, but it's going to pass thousands and thousands of yojanas within like 3 seconds. It's going to pass all this, but this appears to be like 3 years or more. So this is the route he is passing. So it's not surprising to see that in extreme suffering situation, one falls unconscious. But as you fall unconscious, you will not be allowed to remain there. You will not be pampered. You will be made to stand up because you know that the suffering body will not die. You will suffer, but you will not die. So they quickly push you out. Come on, get up. Where you are falling. Who tell you to come here? Who tell you to come? Huh? Who tell you to come here? Why did you do those activities that qualify you here? Huh? You didn't hear anything, any scripture. You didn't hear from Resaban. You didn't hear from Salika. You didn't hear from Chitra. You didn't hear from Madhava. You didn't hear from Jyotiswaru that this is a dangerous place. Why did you come here? So come on, get up and move. They treat you like a woman who wants to give birth. And she's crying. They say, push, push. Then she's crying. The nurses will just slap her sometimes. Hey, we are not here to joke. People who have been pampering her, seriously pampering. Hey, man, this like when you try to take that rebellious, they say you want to kill the baby in the womb on their head. Then they show you their real color. They slap you the time you were having sex. You didn't know that you are so going to pass through this. Come on, be quiet and do what you're supposed to do. Push. Like this. That is just one local example. But there are many situations like this. So this is how the soul who has gone to the wrong place, who has gone to the wrong forest, who has gone to the wrong route, has to experience, like, and develop enough fear and regret is coming there. And regretting, acting in that way that will bring him to that place. And next time, over his dead body, even in dream, he will never act like that. That is where they want him to arrive before he gets to Yamaraj. Now, Jyotiswara Prabhu, your hand is still up, or is this the previous one?
No, Prabhuji. I have one comment going in my mind, so I just wanted to bring it
Okay.
to the notice. Yeah, Prabhuji, it's a comment. Like first thing I wanted to know, which section of Srimad Bhagavatam describe the Narak Varnan, hell, Narak Varnan. That is one question. The full description of the hell. And the second thing, I just wanted to make a comment. Like yesterday, Kavi Chandra Swami Maharaj was discussing about culture, Vaishnav culture. So, in that regard, I just wanted to connect it. You know, in Indian culture, normally when someone passes away or someone dies, within 3 days, the first 3 days, they call the priest and they speak Garud Purana. Garud Purana. So actually, the Garud Purana is the description of the Narak Varnan, only the hell, description of the hell. The whole Garud Purana is like that. So in that Garud Purana, normally when someone pass away, the priest talk about the Garud Purana. Actually, is not for the dead person, is the living being who is living there, so they can listen the description about the hell, and they can be careful and doing such things so that they will not pass through there. But some people, so you know, it is necessary for us also as a devotee, we should hear about Narak. So at least in case if we are diverting somewhere anytime, so we can be more careful. So at least we will not be going to different path any time in the life.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Because that is a very beautiful way. It's a reminder for those who are still alive that change your ways. Change your ways. Understand? And that is what we are also doing. We have to remind ourselves about the danger there. And if you go, this is what we experience. So don't do something that will take you there. This is the whole idea here. And thank you very much. And I think the next chapter is going to describe about the hells, the different hells. Chapter 31. And you will see details of the different hell, including Krimi Bhojana, Tamisra, under Tamisra. And you will see different kinds of hell there. And what constitutes the size of the hell, the geographical size of the hell is all mentioned there. So we're going to see that. So that is good. Maybe originally it's from Garud Puran, but it's added to Bhagavad Puran in the essence. They had to bring those relevant places into the Bhagavad Puran. So thank you very much. It's a reminder. Call for attentiveness, call for carefulness, so that you don't go there. That's why when at the time of death, even in our culture here, when somebody is to preach, he preaches about reincarnation, and he preaches about karma, destiny, reincarnation, things that will remind the people that if you act in this way, you are not free. At the time of death, it's a kind of judgment, examination hall. Then you are going to get the results, and you have to prepare yourself now, act properly so that you will not be overwhelmed by what you see after death. So it's all in place. Thank you very much. Now let's see more. Yojananam Sahasrani Navatim Navachambata Chadbana Tribi Muhutai Dwantiamba Nita Prapnoti Yatanaha. Thus, he has to pass 99,000 yojanas within 2 or 3 moments. Within 2 or 3 moments. And then he is at once engaged in the torturous punishments which he is destined to suffer. So 99,000 yojanas. One yojana is about 9 miles. 8 miles. And 8 miles times 99,000. That is the distance. It's not a small distance. It's a big distance. That because we are in the subtle body, the movement is faster, but the road is terrible. All makes it look very, very long because of the suffering associated with the journey. But the subtle body moves very fast. It's very fast. Within 3 seconds, you are there. But the 3 seconds appear to be 3 years or 30 years because of the suffering factor. But where are you going? You are going to meet Yamaraj, then get your sentence. Then from there, you'll be trained for the next level. Okay. Thank you very much. Madhubanji, back to you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Text 25. Is that right? Okay. Adipanam sagara gachanam visayevo mukadivi atma sadanam swapi swakritam parato diva. Translation. Is placed in the midst of burning pieces of wood, and its limbs are set on fire. In some cases, it's made to eat its own flesh or have it eaten by others. With purpose. From this verse, through the next 3 verses, the description of punishment will be narrated. The first description is that the criminal has to eat his own flesh, burning with fire, or allows others like himself who are present there to eat. In the last great war, people in concentration camps sometimes ate their own stool. So there is no wonder that in the Yama Sadan, the abode of Yamaraj, one who had a very enjoyable life eating others' flesh has to eat his own flesh. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you can see the intensity of torture or to incite fear in the living entity that don't do this. If you do this, so fear here is a devotee who is there to remind people not to do things that will bring them into suffering situation. So fear is a Bhakta fear. Bhakta Bhaya is doing his work. And all these suffering situations is soldiers. Bhaya himself is instructing you, waiting for you, and this is possible. In extreme situation, people eat their own stool for lack of food. And those who have been going from here to through the Sahara Desert to Libya to go to Europe, sometimes they drink their own urine because when the water is finished. So in Yamasadan or the road to Yamasadan, there is no water, there is no food. So you have to eat your flesh, especially those who have been eating the flesh of others. They are made to eat their flesh or have their flesh eaten by others. So terrible situation, very ugly thing, very, very ugly sin. All taking you to Yamaraj. You have not gotten to Yamaraj yet, but this is how hellish it is. Is it a place a gentleman would want to go? No. So in the next 3 verses, let's see more of the description of this hellish situation. Okay. Next person.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Jivatas chantrabhyadvara swargru dheyama sadane sarpavruschika danshair sadir dasabdhis chatsma vaishasam. Translation: his entrails are pulled out by the hounds and vulture of hell. Even though he is still alive, he has seen it, and he is subject to torment by serpents, scorpion, grants, and other creatures that bite him. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
That is not a desirable place to go. Develop enough fear so that you will not do something that will take you there. Next, Salikji, if you are there. Salikji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, text number goes
27.
27. The Sanskrit reads thus. Kritanam chavayo vaso gaja debyo bidananam pataram kirisri ingebyo odanam chambudgaltayo. Next, his limbs are looked up, are choked off and torn asunder by elephants. He is hurled down from hilltops, and he is also held captive, either in water or in a cave. Hare Krishna.
So, continuation of the situation. Elephants playing their parts. And everything that's there is to play their part in striking fear in the hearts of the candidate who has gone there. Carry on. Rasavan. This hell situation, we don't want to be repeating them too much, but they are there. We are only going to watch, so carry on.
Text 28 reads, Yastamrishra Data Mishra Rauravadya Chayatana Untenarova Nariva Mita Sangena Nirmita. Translation. Men and women whose lives were built upon indulgence in illicit sex life are put into many kinds of miserable conditions in the hells known as Tamishra, under Tamishra, and Raurava. Purport. Materialistic life is based on sex life. The existence of all the materialistic people who are undergoing severe tribulation in the struggle for existence is based on sex. Therefore, in divine civilization, sex life is allowed only in a restricted way. It is for the married couple and only for begetting children. But when sex life is indulged in for sex gratification illegally and illicitly, both the man and the woman await severe punishment in this world or after death. In this world also, they are punished by virulent diseases like syphilis and gonorrhea. And in the next life, as we see in this passage of Srimad Bhagavatam, they are put into different kinds of hellish conditions to suffer. In Bhagavad Gita, 1st chapter, illicit sex life is also very much condemned. And it is said that one who produces children by illicit sex life is sent to hell. It is confirmed here in the Bhagavatam that such offenders are put into hellish conditions of life in Tamishra, under Tamishra, in Vaibhava. Hare Krishna.
Three of the hellish planets are mentioned here. One is Tamisra, one is under Tamisra, and one is Rorava. And you see the type of people that go there and the type of punishment that is there, you will hear it. Yes. So that is why we can see that illicit sex is very dangerous, and the products of illicit sex, you know, they constitute a lot of nuisance in the society, and they torture the parents, and many of the children you see in the world now are here to torture their parents for engaging in illicit sex. Just as Irayaxa and Irayakasipo came to this world where because of the inappropriate time, inauspicious time, that was where they passed through. So that is enough indicator that things have to be done at the proper time and place. When things are done at improper time and place, you attract very, very negative results. And that's why in the evenings, when the ghosts and elementals are moving around, it's a dangerous time for having sex. And it's not a good time to be sleeping. We are sleeping when night is falling on you. There are situations to be avoided, there are inauspicious situations. And those who know Nimitta, who have some Nimitta Gyan, you know, they know a lot of these things, and they avoid certain things you're supposed not to do, certain things you should do at a particular time. But the time when something happens matters a lot. The consciousness of the people involved in that thing matters a lot. And everything has degenerated such that what we have, the children we have today, they are just like demoniac from childhood. They have come to torture their parents, and they have come to contribute violence to the world, and like this, like that. So let us be conscious of these things. You know, the time for doing certain things to be considered, and what you have done, when it comes back in the form of reaction, you should be ready to receive it honorably. So in this world also, they are punished by virulent diseases like syphilis and gonorrhea, those who are illicit sex mongers. And in the next life, as we see in this passage of Srimad Bhagavatam, they are put into different kinds of hellish conditions to suffer. See? So that is it. Therefore, sex is only meant for procreation. Illicit sites to be avoided as much as possible. And let's go on. These are three out of the various types of herbs: Tamisra, under Tamisra, and Rurava. And people who are qualified to go there are mainly illicit sex mongers. Next verse.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Madhuvanji is not yet on the chat. Madhuvanji is Chitra Putra's turn. Hare Krishna, Chitra.
Hare Krishna. Atraiva naraka swaga iti mata prachashate yat yayata na vai narakyas ta ihapi upalasita. Lord Kapila continued, my dear mother, it is sometimes said that we experience hell or heaven on this planet, for hellish punishments are sometimes visible on this planet also. Purport. Sometimes unbelievers do not accept the statements of scripture regarding hell. They disregard such authorized descriptions. Lord Kapila therefore confirms them by saying that these hellish conditions are also visible on this planet. It is not that they are only on the planet where Yamaraj lives. On the planet of Yamaraj, the simple man is given the chance to practice. living in the hellish conditions which he will have to endure in the next life. And then he's given a chance to take birth on another planet to continue his hellish life. For example, if a man is to be punished to remain in hell and eat stool and urine, then first of all, he practices such habits on the planet of Yamaraj, and then he's given a particular type of body, that of a hog, so that he can eat stool and think that he is enjoying life. It is stated previously that in any hellish condition, the conditioned soul thinks he is happy. Otherwise, it will not be possible for him to suffer hellish life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So a pig's life is hellish life. First, the subtle body have to learn how to eat stool. There, the dog's body also. They learn how to eat stool. They are trained. Then that subtle body is now sent into the womb of a woman through the semen of a man to go and learn, to go and get a physical body that is suitable. He'll be dressed, also will be dressed in a suitable body to carry out his desire for eating stool. So this is going on, and it's covered by Maya in such a way that he will not see anything wrong in it. He will be satisfied doing it. And this whole training starts from there, in the abode of Yamaraj. The subtle body is first trained. The part of the living entity that is going to Yamaraj is the subtle body plus the soul, not the physical body. But after the training, that trained subtle body will be given a physical body, according to the parents he desires. If he desires the parents of a dog, or parents of a cat, parents of a hog, parents of human beings, he is given such parents, is sent to the semen to take shelter of the semen of the male species there. And from there, he is transferred to the woman. And in the woman's body, the body develops. And it comes out, start behaving, continue to behave like that. But the whole program started from Yamasadam, the training ground for acquiring a body. This is where you train to eat. The dog trained to eat stool before he was given the body of a dog. It is in Yamasadam that the rat, he was trained how to live in holes and to be living a life of stealing, running from here to there, trying to dodge anybody from seeing him. Then he takes something, he's always hiding. So all these species, they are trained in Yamasadam, before they are given physical body to come and operate here under the spell of the covering potency of Maya. So this is how all this is happening, not to the normal person who voluntarily surrendered to Krishna and serve him directly, but this is happening to those who refuse to voluntarily serve or directly serve Krishna. And so that is it. Next sloka, Madhuban.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
Ivam kutumbam vibrana udaram bara evava visre jeho bayam prekya bhumte sat palam idrisahan. Translation. After leaving this body, the man who maintains himself and his family members by simple activity suffers a hellish life, and his relatives suffer also. Purpose. The mistake of modern civilization is that man does not believe in the next life. But whether he believes or not, the next life is there. And one has to suffer if one does not live a responsible life in terms of the injunctions of authoritative scriptures like the Vedas and Purans. Species lower than human beings are not responsible for their actions because they are made to act a certain way. But in the developed life of human consciousness, if one is not responsible for his activities, then it's sure to get a hellish life, as described herein. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Hare Krishna. So that is it. Whether you believe it or not, next life exists. And this is how it happens. Whether we believe it or not, next life exists. The end of one life is the beginning of another. And we should try, therefore, learn how to be responsible, to act responsibly, and be ready to take responsibility for our actions. Yes. So as human beings now, we have to act as human beings. Otherwise, whatever comes our way, we have to accept it. We don't need to blame God. Yes, carry on, Jyoti Swarup Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Slok number 31. Ek prapadhye dvantam ritvandam swakalevaram kushaletara patheyo bhuta drohena yadatam. Translation: he goes alone to the darkest region of hell after quitting the present body, and the money he acquires by envying other living entity is the passage money with which he leaves this world. Purport: when a man earns money by unfair means and maintain his family and himself with that money, the money is enjoyed by many members of the family, but he alone goes to hell. A person who enjoys life by earning money or by envying others' life, and who enjoys with family and friends, will have to enjoy alone the resultant sinful reaction occurred from such violent and illicit life. For example, if a man sources some money by killing someone and with that money maintain his family, those who enjoy the black money earned by him are also partially responsible and are also sent to hell. But he who is the leader is especially punished. The result of material enjoyment is that one takes with him the sinful reaction only and not the money. The money he earned is left in this world and he takes only the reaction. In this world also, if a person acquires some money by murdering someone, the family is not hanged, although its member are sinfully contaminated, but the man who commit the murder and maintain his family is himself hanged as a murderer. The direct offender is more responsible for sinful activities than the indirect enjoyer. The great learned scholar Chanakya Pandit says, therefore, that whatever one has in his possession had better be spent for the cause of Sat, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because one cannot take his possessions with him. They remain here and they will be lost. Either we leave the money or the money leave us, but we will be separated. The best use of money is, as long as it is within our possession, is to spend it to acquire Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
So that is it. Very, very serious. Chitraketu Putra, how do you understand this? Can you explain this? That the result of material enjoyment is that one takes with him the sinful reaction only and not the money. The money he earns is left in this world and it takes only the reaction. How do you explain this?
Hare Krishna. Yes.
You are not explaining to us, you are explaining to a layman.
I'll explain.
Yeah, somebody who is involved in sinful act, who doesn't know and just acting mad, crazy after money. You are explaining, you are trying to bring sense into him. So talk to him in a language that we understand.
Okay. So in case the person, let's say I'm talking to a person who has committed a murder, who has killed somebody, let's say a thief. It is an armed robber and he has gone to somebody's house, stolen, killed people, or maybe gone to a bank and killed so many people and taking money. And he goes to enjoy with the family, girlfriends, children, and all of that. Yes. This particular one, if I'm talking to that person, it is very dangerous. I'm telling him it is very dangerous. See, the scripture is saying that you don't take the money along. The money is left with you here, because in the first place, that place you can't take the money there. Money is not spent over there. You can't spend money. You can't bribe anybody there. They don't need your money. They don't. And it is dangerous for you because the persons you came to enjoy with, they are all enjoying it freely. And you alone goes to serve the rest of the whole punishment for killing, let's say, about 10 people in the bank and stealing, taking away all the money. And those 10 people, the pains that each of them went through whilst you killed them will be added to you. You go through, if they went through, the individual pain will be added, like about 10 pains, it will be added to you. And that is what you are going to suffer. And the unfortunate thing is that those people that you thought about them, to that they are, you are bringing money for them all to be free, for them all to enjoy with you. They are not going with you. You alone is going to suffer, and they will remain here, and then maybe they will even get some opportunity to be free and to do right things and go. So it is always very dangerous to think that, okay, my family is suffering, therefore I'm going for somebody's possession, I'm going to kill somebody for them so that they will see me as a responsible father, It is very dangerous, because going to hell, you are going to suffer for so many people. So many people's pain you have put them into such tragedy, right? So it is better you become a servant, to become a laborer and do something better nicely to survive, than to go and kill people and accumulate their pains of reactions. And you will not take the money there, because that place, we don't spend money over there. It is only the reaction. Hare Krishna. This is the little I can say. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So the people who eat the money with him, they don't have any reaction before this. For example, if a man secures some money by killing someone, and with that money maintains his family, those who enjoy the black money earned by him are also partially responsible and are also sent to hell. But he who is the leader is especially punished. So what would you advise? If you are a parent and you see your son go bring some money, big money, buying a big car, what should you do as a parent? Or people who are supposed to enjoy that money with him? Is it not better to query the source of this money sometimes and try to free yourself that you are not partaking in this enjoyment? What advice?
Yes.
What do you do?
Yes.
So that
If you, I don't know whether it's a general question to all of us or it's still to me alone.
Still you.
But I've never been a parent before. I think this one is why I can better answer this question. Yes. So yes, it's good to always question your child. Yes, it is good to question a brother or a friend, even the source of the income of where, because you know that maybe your brother is not working, he doesn't have a tangible job, and even if he has a tangible job, you know the kind of job, the amount that it can yield at the end of a month of this thing. So if he has brought more than, then he has to question the person. Unless maybe the person went to play maybe a bet. My bet that's popular nowadays. People can get. But even with that, those who are putting their money for you to gain, they are also taking it from some bad sources. They might have been taking it from bad sources or stealing from some people to even come and bet on it. So it is very, very good to question the source of income or the source of money where somebody is bringing for you to spend. And as we are saying, the person who brought it, it doesn't mean that those who enjoy it will not have a punishment, but he alone goes to suffer for the majority. But those who are already here, they also suffer some reactions, impartial, some partial reactions, some amount to it shall be shed for them to suffer indirectly. So it is always very good. It's always wise to, in order to caution the child and also put some fear and panic. This is where we also put fear and panic, whether in our brother, whether in our child, whether in our this, to be cautious. Because, and in all cases, we have to always support with what the scripture has said. We have to reveal to the person, this is what the scripture is saying about hellish conditions. So the scripture is authentic and is authoritative, and it's not written by anybody on this earth.
Okay.
It is written by Via. No, thank you.
Thank you very much. Rasavan Prabhu. Rasavan Prabhu, can you hear me? Rasavan Prabhu, come back from your journey. Rasavan Prabhu. Hey. Please, somebody should help me call Rasavan Prabhu. Somebody should call his phone number.
He has entered into a very deep meditation.
Maybe he's privately visiting some of the other heads. I said we are supposed to go together. That's about not people and go alone. We have to go together. I bet somebody should call him on phone because I want him to. Okay, Rasavan Prabhu, welcome. Hare Krishna. Yes, the second paragraph of this particular purpose reads like this: that in this world also, if a person acquires some money by murdering someone, the family is not hanged, although the members are sinfully contaminated. But the man who commits the murder and maintains his family is himself hanged as a murderer. The direct offender is more responsible for sinful activities than the indirect enjoyer. So, what advice do you have for parents, for men, the heads of the family? What advice do you have for them, the men? Based on this purport by Srila Prabhupada, this part of the purport, what advice? Rasavan? Your posture is changed, so we believe that now you are more with us than before. So, can you bring us alive, enliven us by giving some comment on this? What advice do you have for breadwinners of family?
Yeah, thank you very much. Wealth is necessary to run the family. And at the same time, as the head of the family, in gaining wealth to run the family, as the consequences are too much undesirable. And then one must train as the head of the family members, in such a way that they must understand these points very, very vividly, so that the family running can be on the proper note. not envying and then the jealousy and wanting to be like somebody or better, therefore leading to committing very heinous acts, torments, and punishments are insurmountable in the just near future, because the future will very soon come. So advise head of families to first of all let themselves be guided in their act of winning wealth by the scriptures, and then have a guide, spiritual masters, and then tread the path of holy men in running the family. And then the family members need to be trained by him, the head of the family, so that they become aware of the consequences of actions. So this is the little I can say on this topic.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your inputs. So, Madhuban Prabhu, listen, but the man who commits the murder and maintains his family is himself hanged as the murderer. The direct offender is more responsible for sinful activities than the indirect enjoyer. So what do you have to say? What advice will you give to yourself in the matter of looking for money for family maintenance?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Even in my neighborhood here, there is a family who are involved in the 419 act. And then being involved, they are making some money. They bought a car for the father, and I don't know what they gave the mother. So what advice I would have given them in lieu of this text that we just gone through? First, even though it's the son that is committing the offense, the parents supposed to first of all exonerate themselves. They shouldn't be a benefactor of such an illegal earning, because there will be consequence. And the son also, who is also the actor or the main person. But even the parents, they encourage the children. So I even want to think that the parents will suffer more, because not outside the child, and they're also a benefactor. So advise them that there must be consequence to what they are doing. The children will be punished. The parents also will be punished. So they should be made to know that they are going to suffer the consequence. And generally, people who commit such activity, they try to console themselves by thinking thinking that there will be no life after death. So they give them this type of consolation. So one has to let them understand that the living entity itself is eternal. So there is no way they will escape the consequences of their action. So,
okay, thank you very much. Prabhu. Thank you very much. Jyoti Swarup Prabhu. See, the great learned scholar Chanakya Pandit says, therefore, that whatever one has in his possession had better be spent for the cause of Sat, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Because one cannot take his possessions with him. They remain here and they will be lost. Either we leave the money or the money leaves us, but we will be separated. So the best use of money, as long as it is within our possession, is to spend it to acquire Krishna consciousness. What comment do you have to make about this?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Prabhuji. In this particular sloka or verse, it's mentioned here that Chanakya Pandit, a great scholar, he has also said that whatever the money we have in our possession, we should use is better to spend for the cause of Sat. That's or Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that means is actually a message for a grahastha that whatever money we are earning, I mean, with not with bad intention or from bad sources, but with good sources. Even with the good sources, whatever money we are earning, we should use for the Sat or for the service of Vaishnava or Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because we cannot take any kind of possession, either money or land or whatever, after our death. When we are dead, we cannot take anything. Even Yamaraj doesn't allow to take our slippers. So they just pull us. So better we should not spend our possession in any bad source. Rather, we should utilize in the service of the Lord.
Okay.
Like we can do charity. We can utilize money in the service of the Lord by building a temple or even buying clothes or preparing prasad or even distributing food for life. So that is the way we should spend. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, for your information, our next food for life is coming on the 13th. So you have to increase your
Yes,
donation
Prabhuji.
for this food for life, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, I will call you after the class to arrange for that.
What's the message, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Chanakya Pandit said, and we agree. So I wanted to ask Salika Prabhu, but you've already answered part of the question. How, Salika Prabhu, how should we utilize our possessions, money or whatever, in the service of the Lord? And why should we do so? Why is it necessary for us to use our possessions and money in the service of the Lord? How do we use it? His great Jyoti Swarup has already answered that aspect, but you can still add to it. And why? Why should we utilize our possessions in the service of the Lord? Ji Salik, are you with us?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Savasya idam savat yatkinsha jagatya jagatena tyaktena bunjita magrida kaswa sidunam. The living entity is a part and parcel of God. And every other thing that is within the law, the creation is owned by the Lord. A little quota is given to the living entity. And if you understand his position, the question of why should not arise, because giving to a person who owns a particular property is not actually giving in the first place. It's just putting the right hole, putting the right stick in the right hole, as they say. And for the living entities, the moment we start thinking my money, my house, my wife, my share, that is the beginning of the problem. The real problem is that we're thinking that we own something. The living entity does not own anything. The great Acharya Bhakti Vinod Thakur says that my house, my wife, my children, they are all your properties. They are not mine. So I engage them in your service. So the question of why should we engage them is for a foolish man, because he's thinking that I own this. An intelligent person knows that he owns nothing. Everything belongs to the Lord. And whatever belongs to somebody should be given to the person. And it is called one of the major, or one of the pancha sin, or 5 kind of great sins, is to try to take the property of others as one. And so living entity trying to claim ownership of anything is his major challenge. It's his greatest sin. So the living entity does not own anything. The Lord owns everything, including himself. So if he have this understanding, question of why should not arise. But for a foolish man who is on the street, who does not know God, who has no understanding of who he is, talk less of God, for such a person, common sense, they said, is not common. Because the beginning of religiosity is common sense. And unfortunately, common sense is not common. So unless one develops some common sense, it cannot relate to what is religiosity, talk less of spirituality. So to that man who is on the street, who is a layman, the first thing to do is to bring him to his common sense, to make him realize that nothing is in his control. And when he realizes that nothing is in his control, that everything is in the control of the Lord, it becomes easy to make him understand that everything needs to be given to who owns it. And therefore, it becomes easy to answer the second question, giving everything to the Supreme Personality of God, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It is clinically delivered. Thank you very much. Everything actually belongs to the Lord, and it should be utilized in glorifying the Lord. We cannot renounce what we don't have. So there is no question of renunciation. What we can renounce is our false sense of proprietorship. And we should renounce that, then give everything back to who they actually belong by engaging them in a service. And as Jyoti Swarup Prabhu said, you can build a temple, you can sponsor Sunday programs, you can Sunday feasts, you can organize food, sponsor Food for Life, you can do some buy provisions for devotees, you can buy buka for temple, you can buy milk and honey for altar, sets of handkerchief for altar, you can change in your altar curtains, you can buy deity clothes, you can change proper clothes, you can buy mopping sticks and things that can be used for cleaning the temple, you can buy dhoti and things. So give to devotees so that they can use them and comfortably serve the Lord. And you can sponsor preaching activities. You can sponsor a set of books to be given to prisoners, to be given to different kinds of charity. You can utilize your money to buy vehicle for temple. And if you're already having like 2-3 vehicles, you don't need to get a fourth one. The fourth one should be a vehicle for temple so that they can use it to run around to do Sankirtan. So in this way, we can employ whatever in our positions in the service of the Lord. Why? Because everything actually belongs to him. One who does this is actually the wise man. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Now, Salika Prabhu, you can read the next verse because we are finishing verse 34. We can read them to the end now. Sharp, sharp. Are you there with us?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Devina saditam tasya samalam niraye pumam bhunkte kuntu bapo sayasya rita vita ivadura. Thus, by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the maintainer of kinsmen is put into a hellish condition to suffer for his sinful activities, like a man who has lost his wealth. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The example set herein is that the sinful person suffers just like a man who has lost his wealth. The human form of body is achieved by the conditioned soul after many, many births. And it's a very valuable asset instead of utilizing this life to get liberation if one uses it to simply for the purpose of maintaining a so-called family and therefore performs foolish and unauthorized action. He is compared to a man who has lost his wealth and who, upon losing it, laments. When wealth is lost, there is no use lamenting. But as long as there is wealth, one has to utilize it properly and thereby gain eternal profit. It may be argued that when a man leaves his money earned by sinful activities, he also leaves his sinful activities here with his money. But it is especially mentioned here in that by superior arrangement, Deva Nasa the Tam, although the man leaves behind his sinful earned money, he carries the effect of it. When a man steals some money, if he is caught and agrees to return it, he is not freed from the criminal punishment by the law of the state. Even though he returns the money, he has to undergo the punishment. Similarly, the money earned by a criminal process may be left by the man when dying, but by superior arrangement, it carries with him the effect, and therefore he has to suffer hellish life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jesus Alika Prabhu. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah,
Hare
but
Krishna.
now, Madhuban Prabhu, listen to this last sentence. Similarly, the money earned by a criminal process may be left by the man when dying, but by superior arrangement, he carries with him the effect, and therefore he has to suffer hellish life. What advice do you have for people who are earning money here and there and who are ready to go any length just to earn the money, especially after knowing that either you leave the money at death or the money leaves you? You either leave the money or the money leaves you. That means you don't carry the money beyond, but the money belongs to the physical body, and you're now going elsewhere with the subtle body. But even though you don't go with the money, you are going with the sinful reaction. The sinful reaction will follow the person to the next level, qualifies the person to enter Yamasadan, thereby seeing Yamadutas and getting conducted by Yamadutas along the narrow path to be attacked by the dogs of hell, and to be taken there in the hot sand with the road a very narrow, right, and be thrown into the firewood where you be burned and you suffer terribly. So what advice do you have for the man, who is ready to earn money by any criminal means? What advice do you have for him? Since he's not going to carry the money, but he's going to carry the reaction with him. Advise him for us.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Just like I earlier explained, when people conduct simple activities,
you should advise, Prabhu, you should be in an argumentative mood, and you are establishing to him, trying to help this man. You are a little bit angry, and you are transforming the anger into compassion, and you want to help this man to push him out of that kind of a situation. So help him. So let your voice reflect that.
Yes, it will. But I'm not just saying they like to think that when you die, that's the end of it. So the first thing is to convince them that there's life after death. You assure them. So when they are sure, then you let them know that there will be consequence for their actions. Because if somebody dies, the soul will continue to live, and he only left his body. So he has to face judgment, and in the process, we make to suffer for whatever they have committed. So the first thing to let them know is the reality that it's not when you die, life continues. So once you convince them for that reality, then you let them know that hell actually exists, it's real. And so, like that, I think we have to convince them that they just have to, there's life after, and there's consequences for what they are going to do. And even the suffering is going to be even much more than what they could imagine. because of the condition, just like we read in the scripture, the hellish condition. It's beyond description. When you have to go through a very narrow pathway and be beaten by dogs, and the process, the dog, when one is beaten by the dog, then he will remember all the sinful activities that he has done. And so we let the person understand that you just have to suffer the reaction. There is no way you can escape. Every action every action has its own reaction.
Thank you very much. 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 Okay, that when a man steals some money, if he is caught and agrees to return it, is not free from the criminal punishment. See, by the law of the state, even though he returns the money, he has to undergo the punishment. So even though we are going to leave whatever we have criminally acquired at the time of death, we cannot become free from the sinful reaction. We are going to be taken through this route to Ramana to be punished and to be trained, in the way that we can function in a particular body that we qualify to acquire. So we have to be very, very careful about our actions. The carefulness will be the point of action. We have to be very, very careful to know where we are putting our hands into. We have to be very, very careful to know what to put our hands into. Not for the sake of anything, especially for the sake of wanting to acquire some wealth for any purpose, to build a house, to buy cars. We have to be careful where we put our hands into. We have to be careful at the point of action. Why? Because once you have acted, the reaction will haunt you. Even if you repent, even at the point of death, the reaction will still haunt you. Just as a criminal, after being caught, after stealing some money, is being caught by the state agent. And even if they recover the money, returns the money, he's still going to be punished. So similarly, we have to be careful creating actions or involving ourselves in actions that will bring us suffering reactions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Rasavan.
Yeah, text 33.
Kevalena.
Kevalena hiya dharmena kuntuba baronot suka yati jivunda tamisham charamam tamasa padam. Translation. Therefore, a person who is very eager to maintain his family and kinsmen simply by black methods certainly goes to the darkest region of hell, which is known as Andata Mishra. Purport. 3 words in this verse are very significant. Ivalena means only by black methods. Adharmena means unrighteous or irreligious. Ekutumba Barana means family maintenance. Maintaining one's family is certainly the duty of a householder. But one should be eager to earn his livelihood by the prescribed method as stated in the scriptures. In Bhagavad Gita, it is described that the Lord has divided the social system into 4 classifications of castes, of varnas, according to quality and work. Apart from Bhagavad Gita, in every society, a man is known according to his quality and work. For example, when a man is constructing wooden furniture, he is called a carpenter. And a man who works with an anvil and iron is called a blacksmith. Similarly, A man who is engaged in the medical or engineering fields has a particular duty and designations. All these human activities have been divided by the Supreme Lord into 4 varnas, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya, and Sudra. In Bhagavad Gita and in other Vedic literatures, the specific duties of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya, and Shudras are mentioned. One should work honestly according to his qualification. He should not earn his livelihood unfairly by means for which he is not qualified. If a Brahmana who works as a priest, so that he may enlighten his followers with a spiritual way of life, is not qualified as a priest, then he's cheating the public. One should not earn by such unfair means. The same is applicable to a Kshatriya or to a Vaishya. It is especially mentioned that the means of livelihood of those who are trying to advance in Krishna consciousness must be very fair and uncomplicated. Here, it is mentioned that he who earns his livelihood by unfair means, Kivalina, is sent to the darkest hellish region. Otherwise, if one maintains his family by prescribed methods and honest means, there is no objection to one's being a family man. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This is very powerful. We should all read it again and again to refresh our memories and see what we can do. It is very important. And really, we need to go by that, what we are designated for. Yes. And, finally, Chitra Putra, the last entrance into the classroom, to conclude the last verse. Read the last verse and let us see. Close the door as you enter.
You see, this is the action.
Krishna not to enter now. You close the door as you enter, you close the door. Krishna could not enter. Carry on.
Thank you. This is superior reaction. You see, I entered last, so I could not escape. So I have to read the last one. So it clearly explains the hellish punishment. Atastanara lokasya yabati yata nadaya Ramasha samanu kramya puna atra vrajek chuchi. Translation: having gone through all the miserable hellish conditions and having passed in a regular order through the lowest forms of animal life prior to human birth, and having thus been purged of his sins, one is reborn again as a human being on this earth. Purport: just as a prisoner who has undergone troublesome prison life is set free again, the person who has always engaged in impious and mischievous activities is put into hellish conditions. And when he has undergone different hellish lives, namely those of lower animals like cats, dogs, and hawks, by the gradual process of evolution, he again comes back as a human being. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that even though a person engaged in the practice of the yoga system may not finish perfectly and may fall down for some reason or other, his next life as a human being is guaranteed. It is stated that such a person who has fallen from the path of yoga practice is given a chance in his next life to take birth in a very rich family or in a very pious family. It is interpreted that rich family refers to a big mercantile family, because generally people who engage in trades and mercantile business are very rich. One who engaged in the process of self-realization or connecting with the supreme absolute truth, but fell short, is allowed to take birth in such a rich family, or he's allowed to take birth in the family of pious brahmanas. Either way, he is guaranteed to appear in human society in his next life. It can be concluded that if someone is not willing to enter into hellish life, as in Tamishra or under Tamishra, then he must take to the process of Krishna consciousness, which is the first class yoga system. Because even if one is unable to attain complete Krishna consciousness in this life, he is guaranteed at least to take his next birth in a human form. He cannot be sent into a hell condition. Krishna consciousness is the purest life, and it protects all human beings from gliding down to hell to take birth in a family of dogs or hogs. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the third canto, 30th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Description of Lord Kapila of Adverse Fruitive Activities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So imagine a process. Imagine a process whereby you are called for a program, that if you participate in this program and you write the exams, and if you fail the exams, first you'll be given like $2 million or $10 million, then you'll be lodged in the best hotel in the world for 10 years or for 100 years. Okay, not 10 years. For 100 years, that means you will leave your body living in that hotel with $100 million pocket money. You are not the one to pay. The hotel is fully paid for failing an exams. You write an exam and you fail. If you fail, you are going to get $100 million pocket money, and you'll be lodged in the best hotel in the world for 100 years. Okay, the 100 years is too much, but 100 years. So, will you write the exams or not? Or will you participate in that program or not? If that offer is given to you, Madam, will you participate?
I will participate.
And
when I fail, I'll get the money.
Will you participate, Jyoti Swarup Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, I will participate. Get the money and build the temple.
Chitragadu Putra, will you participate?
Yes, in fact, I'll bring all my family and friends to participate.
Definitely, I know that's the one will participate, and Zalika will participate also. Me, I will participate too. This is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is that program whereby if you participate and even if you fail, as Arjuna asked Krishna, that for those who have left everything in family life and pursuit of worldly things, and they take to this process of Krishna consciousness, and along the line they get distracted and they could not finish, what will become of them? They have left their base, they are unable to arrive at the destination, and they are caught in between. Would they remain like raven cloud in the, in the sky that is just being blown here and there by the wind? What happens to them? I have left everything, as you are saying. If I leave everything and I follow Krishna consciousness, if I don't succeed due to absent-mindedness or some disorder, what will happen to me? And Krishna told him that in this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution. And every little advancement on this path will protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. The most dangerous part of the type of fear is to losing the human form of life into lower species. So if you take the Krishna consciousness and somehow or the other, you didn't attain perfection, you say, this is what you are going to get. You are going to be born. If you are just early starter, if you just started for a short time, you didn't go far, then you somehow or the other left, you failed the exams. So you'll be born in the heavenly planets. And you enjoy there for hundreds of years, the best of everything in the universe for hundreds of years, heavenly years. Then you will come back. When you come back, you will be born in an aristocratic family where you don't need to crack your head for school fees from childhood. You will just be enjoying the best of everything. That's for one who just started for a short time. But for one who has gone for a long time, before he couldn't go further and he fell, his own is just, you don't need to say. So this is Krishna consciousness. This is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. That if you become a devotee, you agree to serve the Lord through the direct process of devotional service. And even if you don't succeed, you don't attain perfection, you will never go below the human form of life. You are going to enjoy in heavens, enjoy here and there. That is not your goal. You are not after the enjoyment, but definitely you will not go below human form of life. So what a beautiful process. And I think every intelligent man would like to participate in this process. And if you are sincerely there, the Lord will, at least, He will intervene and take you and pull you along. So that detachment, that, don't forget, the Bhakti want us to acquire is called Virakti, detachment. That detachment, you acquire it automatically when you become a devotee. Bhakti paresa anubhavo virakti anya trachaisa trika ekakala prapadya manasya yatas natasyu tusti pusti shud apayo anugasam. That is in the 11th canto. That is in the 11th canto. And we quoted this verse again and again, and we are quoting it again. that detachment that is good for the living entities that the Bhakti want everyone to attain. And inducing Kapila Dev to talk about, you will attain it when you become a devotee. That's why she first told him to describe the process of devotional service. And if you are a devotee, automatically say devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things. These three occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of God. In the same way, pleasure, nourishment, and relief from hunger come simultaneously and increasingly with each bite for a person engaged in eating. So this is the verse. So you attain Virakti automatically when you become a devotee. And this is the formula. Virakti you attain. But this time, the type of Virakti we are talking is not ordinary Virakti, detachment. At the beginning, there is detachment, okay? You do your prescribed duty without attachment to the result. Before then, you were engaged in activities like this man, this Griamedi, who has been so absorbed in looking for money by all means, doing Ugra Kama, accumulating Ugra Kama. He does everything just to get money, so he can do whatever he likes. From there, you move to wanting to act with detachment. You are doing your prescribed duty. You are not attached to the results. But now that is not enough. A higher level of it is that you are doing your duty, and the results, you engage the results in devotional service. You are not just detached from the result, but you engage the result in devotional service to the Lord. So this is called Bhagavat Arpita Niskama Kama Yoga. Bhagavat Arpita Niskama Kama Yoga. Not ordinary Niskama Kama Yoga, but Bhagavat Arpita Niskama Kama Yoga. So the distinguishing factor is engaging everything in your possession in the service of the Lord, which is being advised. As long as you are living in this world, you must accumulate, you must do all kinds of struggle, especially as a householder. But if you learn the science of engaging everything in the service of the Lord, you have arrived. Bhagavat Arpita Niskama Kama Yoga. Then you get the best. So this is where we are, this is where we want to be, and whatever will help us to achieve this, we should hold it very nicely. The 9 processes of Bhakti are there for us. The temples are there for us. The scriptures are there for us. The devotees association are there for us. And everything good is there for us. If we're able to take advantage of this, eventually we arrive. So thank you very much. On this point, we can bring the class to a close, and we can all find the connection between this chapter and the next chapter. The next chapter is chapter 31 of Canto 3. Chapter 31 of Canto 3. And you can find the connection between these two before our next class, so that we can begin with that. Yes. The movement of the living entity. At the end of this particular chapter, we come to see that after the Vikami suffer through all the different kinds of hell, after passing through different kinds of varieties of bodies, he eventually come to the human form of life again. And what are the conditions? The human form of life, and the soul is put into a new body. What is the process? And when he comes, how did he is able to reform? Before he come out of the womb, what were his prayers? These prayers, that mood of that purified soul, we need it in order to also advance. We need to connect ourselves to it. So find the connection between this particular chapter and the next chapter, then we'll take it from there next Saturday. Thank you very much for your time. We went a little bit beyond, but thank you very much. We finished the chapter, and we're going to begin next chapter by Saturday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So,
Jaya Shri Krishna
Krishna Chaitanya,
Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Krishna Apara Shiva Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day. Hare Krishna.
All glories to His grace. DVD. Caitanya Prema.
All glories to you. We meet you next Sunday, next Saturday. But please, we advise all students to participate in this Vaishnava culture course we are doing. It sounds like it's for beginners, but it's not for beginners. It's for everyone who is a devotee. And yes, it's only
What is the time for begin?
For time is 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock Ghana time, which is 2 o'clock Nigerian time. But before the day, we are still going to confirm the time, because if there is any situational adjustment that is needed, that comes from the facilitator, it's only BDD. We have to adapt to it. So if something like that come up, we inform the devotees. But meanwhile, put your mind, it's 1 o'clock Ghana time, 2 o'clock Nigerian time. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.